Hey, it is Kenny's Audiophile Record Reviews. Thank you very much for viewing my video. As always, please like and subscribe. I sincerely appreciate that if you're new to my channel. I really appreciate the comments in the comment section below and the viewership. Thank you very much. In this video, I'm going to mention my top 10 jazz fusion bands of all time. Now, this can include individual artists too, as long as they had a solo album. I think there's one or two of those in my top 10 list. We're going to get to that in this video. Please leave your top 10 jazz fusion bands or artists in the comment section below. I really appreciate that. Before I get to the content of this video, I want to briefly say that this video will premiere on Father's Day 2025. So all the fathers out there, I hope you have a blessed and joyous Father's Day. I'm blessed to be a father, have my son, and my son is watching this video. I love you with everything I have to give. I really do. You've been a sense of pride and joy throughout your entire life with me, and it's been nothing but a pleasure being in your life. I'm really blessed and honored to be in your life. Thank you very much, and I love you. And my father, who is in heaven, is not with us, but I wore his college class ring for this video. But there's a lot of choices when it comes to jazz fusion. It's a wide open field. We have to remember, I say this in all these videos, there's no right or wrong answer. These things are highly subjective. It's just a matter of personal opinion, personal taste. This is my top 10 list. You can leave, like I said, leave yours in the comment section below. The reason why some of your entries into your top 10 list are not in my top 10 list, because that's your top 10 list. This is mine. Now, there's before I get to my top 10, there's some bands like are on the outer fringes of jazz fusion that should be mentioned. Like, for example, you know, the Brian Auger Trinity. He did this album with Julie Driscoll. This is an amazing album, by the way. Or here's another Brian Auger album. You know, Jeff Beck probably deserves a mention or two. A tremendous progressive rock guitar player. You know, he delved into jazz fusion. Is another great artist as well. But there are many others that could be mentioned. But I'm going to start with, this is going to be a brief video. I'm going to start with 10 and go down to number 1. And I'm going to start with, he was a visionary as far as I'm concerned in terms of music. You know, he employed, you know, he was in rock, progressive rock, jazz fusion, and that is Frank Zappa. Now, Frank Zappa has this outstanding album. It's called Hot Rats, and I think I reviewed it on a video, I don't know how long ago, but he was a tremendous, like I said, visionary in terms of music, and he had a wide range of terms of his musical tastes in which he loved to delve into as a musician, and jazz fusion was one of them. He employed jazz musicians like John-Luc Ponty and George Duke. What a tremendous mind, what a tremendous visionary Frank Zappa was. But Frank Zappa is number 10 on my list. Coming in at number 8 is Flora Purim. She briefly was with Return to Forever with Chick Corea and Stanley Clarke in the early 70s, but she had this tremendous wordless vocal style, and her albums, you know, the mid to later 70s were tremendous. And what a very nice jazz fusion vocalist she was. She comes in at number 9 on my list. Flora Purim coming in at number 9. What a great vocalist she was out of Brazil. She's married to Airto Moreira, the great Brazilian jazz percussionist who also played with Miles Davis as well. Coming in at number 8 is one of the greatest bass players of all time, especially when it comes to jazz fusion. You can make a case he's number 1. That's Jaco Pastorius. This is a tremendous album. This Jaco Pastorius album. Jaco Pastorius playing with acts like Joni Mitchell, guest artists on many different albums, I should say, with not Return to Forever, Weather Report. Jaco Pastorius, who left us too soon, a sensational talent. Jaco Pastorius, comes in at number 8 on my Jazz Fusion, top 10 Jazz Fusion artists or bands list. Coming in number 7, he was an electronic jazz fusion marvel. Pat Metheny, the Pat Metheny group, they were tremendous. His example was one of his great albums, this Off-Ramp album, I think came out in 1982, 83, somewhere on that time frame. But Pat Metheny is coming in at number 7 on my list. This is his tremendous live album called Travels. Pat Metheny coming in at number 7 on my top 10 jazz fusion list. Like I said, please leave your top 10, top 5, top 3 in the comment section below. Coming in at number 6, he was also an early visionary when it comes to jazz fusion, and he doesn't get the props he deserves, I don't think. That's Larry Coryell. He was just simply sensational as a jazz fusion artist, as a guitar player in the jazz fusion realm. So Larry Coryell comes in 6 on my jazz fusion list. Coming in at number 5, another transcendent guitar player, electric guitar player, and he was in his group called the Mahavishnu Orchestra, featuring John McLaughlin. Coming in at number 5, what a sensational jazz fusion group they were. I mean, they just had just loads, Billy Cobham, you know, and just loads of talent on these Mahavishnu albums. Coming in at number 4, another jazz fusion trendsetter, and he's been in the, into the jazz fusion realm a long time, and that is Herbie Hancock. So I love the Herbie Hancock albums around the area or period when he did Headhunters, Thrust, and Wandishi. Wandishi was on Warner Brothers Records, whereas Thrust and Headhunters were on Columbia Records. But he was a transcendent jazz fusion artist, a spectacular mind, a visionary when it comes to jazz fusion. I think this is a landmark album by Herbie Hancock when it comes to his work in the jazz fusion realm, in my opinion. This is an Analog Productions Acoustic Sounds version of Headhunters, and it just simply sounds tremendous. This is a 45 RPM. If you're a fan of that, Herbie Hancock and Headhunters, that's a tremendous and joyful album to listen to, that Analog Productions Acoustic Sounds 45 RPM version of that album. Herbie Hancock coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3. Now 3 and 2 are almost like tied. I had a difficulty separating them on my list, but coming in at number 3, probably missed some of these rankings up, but coming in at number 3, Chick Corea and Return to Forever. Now, I mean Chick Corea and Return to Forever, I'm talking about you know, the first 2 or 3 albums, and more particular the first 2. You know, when you had Stanley Clarke, Chick Corea. This is a tremendous album. Is Light as a Feather album, which has great songs. If you had not heard this album, listen to Spain on Return to Forever, and also 500 Miles High. And this is, it also had Flora Purim on this one as well on vocals. This is their initial album, Chick Corea and Return to Forever. They're number 3 on my list. I just love the, you know, that early, you know, 70s vibe and groove, mid-70s vibe and groove of Return to Forever. I like the mid-70s version of Return to Forever over the one that included Al Di Meola and Lenny White. I love the earlier incarnation of Return to Forever better, although this version of the band or the group is quite good. Coming in at number 2, and like I said, 2 and 3 are almost tied. They really are. But they were just innovatively spectacular in their play. Had jazz legends like Wayne Shorter, Joe Zawinul, Jaco Pastorius. That's like an all-star jazz fusion band. You know what I'm talking about. That's Weather Report. There's a famous Heavy Weather album, and just the infusion of music with just Joe Zawinul and Wayne Shorter, and the musical vibe they created in the jazz fusion realm was simply spectacular. I think this is one of their underrated albums. their Weather Report album. The Sweet Niner. Weather Report is number 2 on my list. Coming in at number 1 is Miles Davis, around, you know, the period when he did Bitches Brew and Jack Johnson. Miles Davis, those groups, he is number 1 on my jazz fusion list, and it's not even close. That Bitches Brew album is one of the greatest albums ever made, just hands down. I know a lot of you take or prefer the Jack Johnson album over the Bitches Brew album. I think the Bitches Brew album is just simply better in my opinion. The grooves and the compositions are better, I think, on Bitches Brew versus the Jack Johnson album. But Miles Davis, so the period between Bitches Brew and Jack Johnson, the greatest jazz fusion band of all time, even though the personnel changed between the two albums, I know that, but that period of Miles Davis's career is number 1 on my list. That's my top 10 list. Best jazz fusion bands, best jazz fusion musicians. You know, I included some jazz fusion musicians, in particular Jaco Pastorius, because he had his own album. But please leave yours in the comment section below. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Please like and subscribe. God bless, strong love, and more important than the music, just keep the peace worldwide.